Daikini, this is a long video. It's an unscripted video. So if you're a real one, you're going to watch until the end. If you don't have time to watch until the end, you set it aside, watch later, and you come back to it when you have all ears, heart, everything open to receive this knowledge. This video is another life-changing video. Thank me later. So good morning again, my beauties. I help spiritual women overcome their imposter syndrome and get revenge on what I call the system by teaching them how to embody their dark feminine energy through shadow work, witchcraft, and domination mindset programming, so they can look like the most beautiful physical version of themselves while having a true villain mentality. I call it face of an angel, mind of a serial killer. All of that without being jaded or losing your whimsy and soft feminine touch. And these are spiritual women who have felt invisible and who have been hurt and prevented from experiencing success in things like lifestyle and relationships, things that they can actually monetize into visible transformation. If this type of topic interests you, keep on watching. This video is sponsored by the Self-Love Set by yours truly, Miss Prevala. You already know that to be successful as a woman, you need to live a double life. There is the woman you are during the day, the version of you who has things to do, decisions to make, and actions to take. Then there is the evening version of you, the woman who stabilizes herself emotionally, energetically, spiritually in the shadow of a night ritual. Both versions operate through the same formula. Potion plus perfume plus ritual equals the whimsical embodiment of the hyper feminine woman. You use the self-love set
when you hate your body, you hate your reflection in the mirror, when you feel disappointed with yourself, when you are paralyzed by imposter syndrome, when you hate yourself for still caring for people who mistreat you, when you are afraid of being alone, or when you are lonely, even when you are in a room full of people. And it starts showing. And also when you compare yourself to other women, when you undercharge for your worth, when you overgive and get depleted of your energy. Basically, when you move through life as if you were not the prize. You also use self-love as a set when you have experienced a big change in your life and you need to recalibrate your energy and pick up the pace of your projects. So go to my website, missprevala.com/potions, where you can get the self-love diamond potion and the self-love energy spray perfume. You can of course get them separately, but I've also put together a set. Anything you acquire from my collections, it's an investment in you and in your holistic experience of success in your life. This is not about choosing between feeling good in your body and having material, financial, and even lifestyle success. It is about becoming whole, and in my book, that is the real definition of fulfillment.
Today we are at a beautiful hotel and spa, which is located in a little village in the French Riviera. It's really a place where you don't see a lot of tourists. Small, beautiful, charming village, and there's a beautiful hotel which just opened, I believe, a few months ago. We were invited to an event prior to the inauguration, so we were able to visit the entire facility, so the hotel, the rooms, the spa, the fitness, the restaurants, and all of that. But I got a little voucher to come and try the spa. If you're not new to my channel, you know that I love pampering and I often make videos when I go to spas. I thought it was a good opportunity to speak about today's topic, which is again a non-mainstream topic, I believe. It's tied to something that a lot of people in psychology like to talk about, which is killing the ego or going through a rebirth process in order to change your life, which for me really boils down to killing your old self, which is another way of saying identifying your default identity and basically all of the reasons why you are living a life which is not fully fulfilling. Maybe if you're lucky, it's only maybe you're not fulfilled in love. That's only one aspect. But for some women, they're not fulfilled in their career. They're not happy really in a harmonious relationship with a man. They don't feel loved, claimed, things like that. So this notion of fulfillment and thriving in your life, it requires you to identify your default identity and find a way to completely kill the old self, study your values, your desires, your capacities, and curate a new identity, which I call your success identity. So you're going to love this video.
I just finished my spa session, so I had a facial and a massage, and now I'm going to take advantage of the spa. So this is the pool. The hammam, and here the sauna. Tea brewing there. I just got mint tea. There's a jacuzzi there, and then there's the inside indoor pool, all for me. And of course, I'm not going to show you that part. It's intimate, but yeah, I'm very relaxed. Oh. And here, I'm going to have just a little bit of detox water because it's very warm. I had the massage, so I need to hydrate.
Bikinis, I need a favor from you. I've already explained to you in the previous video the challenge that I have growing my channel because I live in a French-speaking European country. I am posting content in English. So basically the algorithm of YouTube has been dispatching my videos in all of the French-speaking countries, and people see apparently the title in English. They don't know what I'm talking about, so people don't click. So I need you to be my brand ambassadors. I want you to be zealous, to do all of the things to make sure the video gets the engagement it deserves. So you're going to like, comment, share, whatever else you are able to do with the video.
I had to do a quick run to Paris to meet with a client, and then in the evening I had dinner with some friends and returned the next day back home.
So lunch is over. We're back at the studio. Don't mind the bed is undone in the back. The cleaning lady is not feeling well. Someone is coming tomorrow. In the meantime, it is what it is. So let's talk about today's topic. Okay, let me just say it's unscripted. I'm just chit-chatting with you, okay? The topic of killing your old self in order to transform your life is nothing new, except that most of the time when it is talked about, psychologists who talk about it, even though they have studied it, they never give you the actual how to. They just tell you kill the ego, this is how you change your life. In psychology, most of the time, the ego is associated with anything that holds you back, anything that is tied to your vices, your fears, anger, anything negative that is having an impact on you psychologically, or anything that is making you unhappy that you can change by looking inwards, is basically what they refer to as the ego, which is different from for example, Buddhism. You know, I studied Buddhism when I did the studies of esoteric sciences, especially Eastern sciences, so Buddhism, Confucianism, Taoism, etc. And in Buddhism, they're going to tell you also that you need to destroy the ego with a capital E. The ego being the source of all pain, which is a type of, again, philosophy that has been very much explored by Westerners, especially in the late 60s. Yeah, I believe so. When you had a whole bunch of mainly American, British, Australian, North American politicians, celebrities, etc., like I said, who went to the East. They had indulged in all that is bad in life, and they wanted to find a source of peace, inner peace. So you're talking about a Western society which was highly materialistic, that had a history of going around the world, creating wars, enslaving people, etc., etc. And still, despite the material comfort, you had a whole bunch of people who were seeking what? The meaning of life. Why are we here? So they went to explore in the East, in places like Tibet, in places like India, exploring the self. Buddhism and other esoteric sciences that come from this sort of family of a spirituality, which explores what the body as a vessel is. So you're going to have, for example, Ayurveda, the science of life, which is going to tell you what your constitution is physically, telling you, what to eat, when to eat, based on your specific constitution. I studied Ayurveda. I'm an Ayurvedic practitioner. If you didn't know, I studied it for 3 years in an ashram. You have Ayurveda. You have different types of meditation, to quiet the ego, which is something that a lot of my clients have told me over the years. How do I meditate? How do I silence the mind? Which is really something that you would hear a lot if you're a non-Westerner like me, and kind of difficult to explain to a Western mind. And when I say Western mind, I'm talking about all skin colors. Basically, this notion of people who have been trained to be logical, and they need you to give them a how to be. Meditation is being. Then there are as many types of meditations as there are types of people, of course, but how to be. How do you meditate? You close your eyes, you breathe, and then boom, you're gone. That's it. I don't care if I'm in a crowd, in a concert, which actually I would never be in a concert. Well, mostly. But yes, even if I'm surrounded by people, I close my eyes and that's it. I'm in my inner world. But the Western mind, through the logic, has gone to the East to find answers to the self, how to be in harmony within yourself. And this type of thinking has been then, through the notion of a new age propaganda, distributed all around the world, with people teaching you, Westerners teaching you yoga, Westerners teaching you transcendental meditation, Westerners teaching you chakras and things like that, because their foundation is the logical mind, so they need to give you logical ways to address something that is non-tangible. Magic cannot be explained, which is basically what the Eastern spiritualities are, except that they're explaining them to you in a way that is more scientific. So you're going to understand the body. I'm not going too far for no reason. Bear with me. By the way, I'm not wearing any jewelry because I had a massage and I'm still sweating. And also I didn't put the AC on because I'm filming a video. I'm bringing it back to the chakras, okay? You know that the body has a system of at least 7 known chakras. Personally, I've developed up to 13 chakras for myself, and I've known people who have many more chakras than the basic 7. But let's just say they're teaching you about the basic 7 chakras, each of them having a specific role in your energy body, but having a real impact on your physical body, because you may also know that the body has several layers. I'm going to bring it back to the physical, the mental, the emotional, which are really what you need to focus on if you have not been able to master the material world, meaning master being in harmony with acquisition of material wealth, which is your first chakra. Material comfort, material ease is the root chakra, meaning that in a utopia, when you're born, you are born by default rich, because the earth is bountiful. You are a divine being. So when you are in this incarnation by default, meaning that if you're not acknowledging or carrying your curses, karma, all of the behavior, the transgenerational curses, the bloodline, whatever you go, all of that stuff, because you love all of the words. Words don't really matter for people like me, but you like to know that, oh, this one is a generational curse, or this one is this. Who gives? So each chakra has its particularity. So let's bring it to the topic of the video. You want to kill the ego, capital E. This is what they teach you. I don't know at what level of spirituality or psychological knowledge you are, but sorry, for someone like me, this is basic. This is like 3rd grade knowledge. So you have the Manipura chakra, okay, which has a name in my language, which is gonna be useless for you. And I want to bring it back to a system that you know, okay, which is the Eastern system, tied to these sciences taught by India tens of thousands of years ago, and that we have still the privilege of knowing through texts like the Vedas, all of that. The Manipura chakra, the solar plexus chakra located between your Svadhisthana chakra, your sacral chakra, which is below the navel, like right here, the womb, basically your sexual energy, and above you have the heart chakra. So here, where basically tell people when they tell you, oh yeah, I have a hunch, or follow your intuition, follow your gut, that is that. This is the chakra of the ego, capital E, which is the first lie that they're telling you, or the first mistake, non-knowledge that people are going to teach you. There's not one ego unless you call it a capital E, meaning a family of egos. If you're an occultist like me, you know that energy is just a word for anything that is not tangible by the flesh, meaning the physical, the sight and the touch or the taste or whatever. But energy is basically the generic name for anything that is invisible, and anything that is invisible has a life. Spirit, capital S. In spirits, you're going to have different type of spirits. Spirits that are doing good things and spirits that are doing bad things. You need both, okay? If someone is Xing me and I want to punish them, thankfully, in my army of spirits, there are entities that have the specialty of harming. An entity that is all pure love and light, compared to the physical reality to humans, a purely love and light spirit cannot do anything but love and light. That is why you have a whole bunch of people who are on places like YouTube channeling what they call ascended masters, which again even are other spirits in disguise, you know, which are slowing you down, but a lot of people are addicted to these types of channeling, like the world is this, Gaia is doing this, the intergalactic this is saying this, etc. Good. It's helping you if you want to stay in the 4D and, you know, consider this incarnation like, I'm just gonna be non-existent and just be in the dream state, connecting with the 4D, with the divine realm and all of that. So basically, I'm not owning my incarnation. I'm constantly running away from the responsibility of my self-realization. Here, I'm staying in fear, and instead of being disappointed or instead of failing, I'm just gonna stick to cosmic messages that have no impact in me owning my incarnation, having power and becoming the master of my incarnation. To push it even further, let me say a little thing more. When they talk about the chakras also, they're going to tell you that they're wheels, that they're energy centers. Anyone that tells you that is either a liar or an ignorant that is spreading ignorance. Why would I even say that a chakra is an energy center? What is an energy center? In our physical reality, what is an energy center? An energy plant. On those, the equivalent of nuclear plants? On those, the equivalent of actual places, tunnels that harvest energy in order to generate more energy. You're thinking with your logical mind. Chakras are portals. But then what is a portal? I just gave you the answer. What happens when people die? When you have all of the chakras and people, what do people who came back from, you know, a near-death experience, what do all of them tell you? That they went through a tunnel, that they are seeing a light. Every single chakra is a portal, which is the reason why once you start decalcifying your third eye, you think it's an eye. It's a cloud. All of the portals are plugs that are tied to specific energies, aka entities. And the moment you open it, that's the reason why they see you, because it means that you're seeing them in the portal. You're walking in there. Anyways, you want to have real knowledge, book me. I'm not that expensive. It's $5,000 per session with me, and I am well worth it. So let me push aside the spiritual aspect. I'm gonna stick to the identity aspect, even though all of the little voices that whisper in your ear, what are they if they're not spirits speaking to you, spirits that you acquired through your own behavior, your exposure to entertainment, your exposure to dogmatic, monotheistic, religious spirits that are coming to you because you're an open vessel. You just want to be saved. You know, you leave your space, your vessel. You know, imagine being a plane. You know, you're supposed to be a private plane, but then your plane is a 367 airplane. You have 400 spirits inside. Each of them is speaking to you. This is what I call your default identity.
If you're ready to intentionally curate your success and transform your life, you don't have to waste time going through trials and errors and feeling discouraged at the end. You really don't have to figure it out on your own. I have organized the entire process into my Dark Feminine Energy course, Train Like a Villain, Moan Like a Sex Goddess. It covers everything: your imposter syndrome, your mindset, your spiritual practice around success and fulfillment. You're welcome to enroll now. Use the link in the description box.
Okay, so all of the little voices speaking to you that are on autopilot, by the way, because you don't control them. Otherwise, you wouldn't ask, how do you meditate? How do you create silence? How do I know what my life purpose is? A question that I get a lot. What is my soul mission? Etc. All of the things that you should know if you just quiet your mind, so you sit still and you receive the answers, because your vessel was made for that. You need to destroy your egos in order to be reborn and curate, decide, use your own free will to craft what I call your success identity. The reason why you were born in the first place, to master your existence. What is the component, the main component of killing your ego and being reborn? and what they never tell you. I dare you, bring me a video that gives you the actual blueprint. You know, destroying your ego, like staying on the surface. I have clients who have been in therapy for years. They still don't know how to give me an answer. You destroy your ego, the word is in it, through violence. It's an act of violence. It's pure dark feminine energy. Giving birth is dark energy anyways. The womb is black. The color of the womb, it's in darkness. Our earth was created through the Big Bang. That's what they say, right? The climactic forces coming together, explosion, and creating our reality, our dimension. It requires violence. Violence in what? In identifying every single aspect of you that you realize has a more than a correlation, but more a cause and effect in the life that you're living. I've made it clear in previous videos, and if you're part of my course, if you're not, really, I don't know what you're waiting for. Those are the best investment of your life, the best money spent on anything. I spent $38,000 times 4 years college, you do the math, plus over 250K of initiation, you do the math, how much have I spent for my education? Really, you buy this course, you don't need anything else. All of that money, well, not the initiation, I didn't waste that money. That money was not wasted. That is the reason why I am the greatest at what I do. It's also thanks to that. What is my life? What do I want to change about my life? You always start with you. Always through an act of love, okay? When I say violence, it doesn't mean self-hatred. Because most of the time, you are in disharmony because there is self-hatred. The fact that someone would say, I don't like my body because my body now is not as beautiful as I would like it to be. You're rejecting your own home. This is your home. For this incarnation, this is all you get. You know, why not honoring it? Why not cherishing it? Better start doing whatever, all of the magic you need in order to, you know, get back to self-love, to transform your cells, you know, to have the all-loving, joyful, pleasure-filled cells that give you the life that you want, the body that you want. Anyways, okay, I wish I were there. What can I do to get there? What has blocked me from being there? Acknowledging that the system is not there to help you. The system is supposed to make you a nice robot, a nice obedient puppet. You're never happy, fulfilled, successful, materially, emotionally, romantically, sexually, all of that in a sacred way if you follow the guidelines of the system. The system is meant to keep you a victim, to keep you dissatisfied. When you have money, money doesn't bring you happiness, or it's never enough, or you compromise in being in a relationship, then you're like, okay, I don't really like this guy, or this guy has not been contributing to the type of life that I want, but I'm already there. So you're fuming silently while acknowledging in your mind that this is not really the ideal life, but you take it upon yourself because you're a good girl. You have the good girl programming that, well, I should be grateful. You know, propaganda has taught me that I should also be grateful. So you're forcing gratitude. How many videos are there of Ho'oponopono, people doing it left and right, you know, not even realizing what is this tradition for, who is it for, in what capacity does it help you? Always seeking gratitude for things that don't even need gratitude. Most women, at least I've spoken to thousands of women, are all over the place because you don't have a blueprint. So it starts with violence, killing every single thing, habits, people. Basically, the moment you identify a correlation between me, my fears, my doubt, me not being happy with my behavior, or whatever, or me not being happy with my job, the way people treat me, everything that is about you, you as a universe, you tie it to, I am the common denominator of my life. So if it is fear that has stopped me, how do I overcome fear? If it is a feeling of unworthiness, why Why do I have that? Miss Pravella told me that I am a divine being. I'm divinely entitled to have the best life, my dream life. Miss Pravella told me that I have a womb that creates wealth. But the problem is that portal that you open, your Manipura chakra, your solar plexus chakra, you opened it, right? Because you like the distraction, you like the entertainment, you like the dogma, you like all of that. So you have a whole bunch of energies living there that are where? Eating up on your womb, on your creation center. You're not there. They're occupying it because you are not using it. You're not doing magic for your sexual energy on a regular, constant basis. It's not just about, oh, let me do it. Let me do a full moon ritual once in a blue moon. Let me do a yoni steam once in a blue moon. Or when I have problems, now I'm gonna do it. You're constantly doing desperation magic instead of doing abundance magic. When you have money, that's when you should do money magic. When you're in love, that's when you do more love magic to reinforce, to have more of. Magic multiplies, but if you're always coming from a deficit, it's almost like you're always praying, like some people pray for money to get their bills paid. Or people who pray they're going to go to saints like Saint Expedite. Thankfully, there are spirits like Saint Expedites who are there, because who else is going to give you $500? Not my spirits. They don't vibrate on $500 or euros. Like, why would I waste their time for that? We do projects magic. A lot of people do magic when basically they've tried everything instead of doing magic first. You're invisible first. If you're a spiritual woman, your life should be spirituality. There are 24 hours during the day. You should be a spiritual person, 18 hours in the day. I'm giving away too much. Unscripted content is always like that. I give too much. Book me for a session if you really want me to solve your problem. You kill the ego by this act of violently going the opposite of who you are. You love to do this, you stop doing this. You like this type of people, but those people don't bring you the elevation you need. You cut them. You cut, flat cut. This is the violence you should impose to yourself. This is dark feminine energy. It's shadow work is not just doing a session for 2 hours and feeling like, I felt the relief, and then you move on and then life is the same. You're just wasting your time. Take action. Self-realization is about action. You stay in that energy to feed your creativity, to feed your hyper femininity, so you stay sexy, you stay loving your life, you stay juicy. You have a purpose to fulfill. Otherwise, it's a wasted life. You need both. Something that they don't tell you. So I've already answered one question, but it's not the full question. You know, when they tell you, okay, kill the ego, you've killed the ego, now what? Now you're like this all over. By the way, subscribe, comment, share. What else can you do? What else can you do with my videos? Print them, put them on your... You're now searching for keyword. Oh my God, I am sweating. The algorithms of your social media knows that you're seeking that. Back in my days, when I went to university, my university was at the Lincoln Center in New York. And then there was a campus in, what was it called? Rose Hill in the Bronx. Next to the Bronx or in the Bronx. I felt like J-Lo. I went to the library. When I studied esoteric sciences, I went to the library. When I studied ancient Egyptology, I went to the library. I went to learn the translation of the hieroglyphs. I went and looked at the papyruses. I looked at the Aramean texts of at least one of the most ancient versions of, you know, what you call the Bible, which is now a diluted text meant to keep you low. I went and looked, you know, at Sufi philosophers, writers, the Rumis and all in the book. I told you I'm not a book person. Back then I was supposed to be into books because I was studying it, literally studying it. I was a student of esoteric sciences. I went from Bible study to Quranic studies, you know, to honor my mother and my stepdad. So dogmatic knowledge where I wasn't really allowed, I was not actually, absolutely not allowed to ask questions, especially not questions that would challenge the dogma, to myself exploring what religion was, the science of religion around the world, Hinduism and all of the other stuff. What they don't tell you is then, what do I do now that I've killed my ego and most people are lost? Have you seen documentaries or even sometimes movies where you have Westerners going to pilgrimage? Well, the word pilgrimage many times is used for Mecca, but as a generic term, going to places like India, they go to a Hindu temple and they're going to do like a silent retreat, for example. So they do whatever they do, they go to the ashram and they get to do labor tasks, so they stay quiet and they you do the dishes, you mop the floor, you whatever. By the way, I've never done it, even though I was at an ashram. I was never assigned these tasks. You finish, I feel like peace. And then they come back to whatever their country city is, Paris, London, New York, LA, Sydney, and they're like, now I'm overwhelmed, I'm back in the real world, and they don't know what to do. They start building themselves, they don't know, so they're like, okay, am I now going to a guru sort of path? Because they don't know. They're like, okay, I was in that temple, now I'm going to find people to be in that temple life. So every evening after work, instead of living, they're going there, they're meditating, they're chanting mantras, or others, they wanted to fight an addiction. They go back maybe a month or two, they're like in their home, they don't know, they're afraid of going out because they don't have the blueprint. And then they go out, boom, they go back to their old demons. It's like exorcism at a, in a religious place. Get any religious place, Muslim, Christian, Catholic, whatever. The priest or the religious person performs the exorcism, removes the so-called ghost spirit, whatever it is. The spirit waits right outside. You're finished, poof, holy water. You walk out, that spirit, poof, back in. So if you went to the temple because you wanted to stop smoking or stop doing drugs, or you're hurt because there's a relationship that you had that tore you apart, you were with a narcissistic, with an avoidant, a non-whatever, and you went there to seek peace, and then you walk out and then like, what do I do? The soul searching was in reality an excuse for just give me a solution so I can get that guy back, but now he needs to treat me better because I did the work. Or now I did the work, I need money. Where is the money? Where is the career? Like, I've done the work. They don't give you the answer. Identity. That's why I did the course, the villain course, because it's a blueprint. You're building yourself, the foundation of the mentality. That's why I give you the archetypes. Let me give you an example. I spoke about J-Lo. It brings me to, I think I used her as an example. I believe in my lectures on the archetypes or the assignments, everyone has an archetype. I'm speaking of women, by the way. If you're a man, I'm not talking to you. That's not my job to save you. Or actually, I'm not. It's a default in communication. I'm not here to save anyone as well, But if you're paying me, I'm gonna help you. Archetypes. Identity relates to your life in the flesh. You don't need an identity in the force, in your multi-dimensional goddess way, okay? Your goddess is probably beautiful, powerful, dresses in gold and sparkles and all of that. She may be sassy, or she may be very overpowering, or she may be whatever, or shy. She may have long hair, dreadlocks, no hair, a crown like this, whatever. She's there chilling. That aspect of you did not ask to be incarnated. And even if you have done an initiation and you have a knowledge of your Orisha, and here I'm speaking more about people who are melanated, so who have an origin in Africa, even though not everyone will be linked to a Yoruba or ancestor divinity. I'm using that example because a lot of people, if you're from London, if you're from the US, whatever, even though there are other bloodlines, like people like me who come from the Congo, other people who come from more north, more east, or whatever, not everyone is tied to the Yoruba, but at least it gives people, descendants of people who were put in slavery in the United States, so melanated people, a lot of them are going to go to that knowledge first, because if they don't know, they only have the internet, and the internet has a lot of resources on that. But say you went even further and you did an initiation, meaning that you went there and they told you, the priest of that house told you that yes, you're welcome for the initiation, because you don't just go and you decide that you have to get initiation. You know, you're going for an issue, and then they tell you, oh, you need to be initiated because you need to connect to that divinity, to that Orisha or whatever. So if you're following that, or any of the melanated, you know, so Kandoble, Ifa, Voodoo, Bwiti, Mumba, whatever it is, they're connecting you to the mother of your house, your divinity. So me, I'm a daughter of Oshun. I'm other things as well, because me, I'm tied to Mamiwata. But Mamiwata has, Oshun is part of the Mamiwata. They're not the same, but if you determine that you're both because of your geographic origin, I mean, that's, I'm giving too much information. For me, I have identified my exact precise tribe where my Oshun is, but my Oshun is what? The Orisha. Now, my Oshun is the one that she gave my name, she gave me her name, you know, so when I'm doing a ritual calling upon my Oshun, I'm calling the name of my Oshun, because you're not gonna call upon, 45,000 Oshuns out there. They don't know you. You're calling yours, right? So even if you know that, okay, I know my Oshun, you do the initiation to soul search. You still don't, it's still there. Oshun is going to allow you to do the magic and all of the spiritual rituals to bring you fulfillment here, but she's still not giving you what you're here to get, which is what? Mastery. You're supposed to be a goddess here. All of these spirit, orishas, genies, jinns, whatever, all of them cannot have a real impact on you unless your identity is changed. That is why you would have 50 women going to the same padrino. For me, I did Santeria for Oshun specifically. For other things, I saw, other names of initiators. There would be 50 of them. Why are they all not happy, healthy, fulfilled, rich? Because your life path is open. That's why also I include astrology, because you need to realize that all of that stuff needs to be transmutated. You need to elevate and expand. Your birth chart is an indication of where you start, what is helping you, what is blocking you, but it's giving you also, again, the blueprint. You should use it to expand. You are never blocked, really, by the stars. Everything boils down to life on earth because you incarnated here. Your identity here takes place once you kill the default identity. So all of the old voices, imagine you dealt with that. You have no fears anymore. You love your body where you are. You know you're optimizing everything. You're maxing out everything. Now, okay, how do you know the blueprint? You have to create the instruction manual for yourself based on the knowledge you have of yourself. That is why I am teaching you the archetypes. So I spoke about J-Lo. I'm going to use her example. Celebrities are easy because you observe them from the outside and they tell you exactly what you need to know in general. I haven't done a psychic reading on her. I'm just speaking from, again, this is not even spirituality. This is success in the 3D, the material world. So you have J-Lo, Jennifer Lopez, who is a proletarian archetype. And you could see that, and in the course, it's well. So my microphone died. I hope you're going to hear me, but we've used it all day and I didn't have time to charge it back. But I'm already gone. I'm already on the highway. So let's talk. I kind of miss doing the lives. This is like the kind of interaction I had with you when I was doing Instagram lives and TikTok lives and stuff. But so J-Lo, okay, I'm going to give you the example of Jennifer Lopez and my mother, because it's going to tie back to the default identity. When it comes to success, you have a major and a minor archetype, okay? Success is what? Do I need to remind you? You already know. You have more than enough money to feel happy and free in the way you use and use that money and live with that money, so you're never in need. Whatever you want, money is there. The projects, small or big, the money is there. The money is never a question. It's coming on demand, or it's always there. Like, the piles of money are there. Career, you're advancing, you're being more and more visible, you're recognized for your value, for your worth, for your competency, for your whatever, the magnitude of what you want to do. You're a humanitarian or philanthropist, you're known for the advocacy that you're doing, you're happy being seen, being visible, being the brand ambassador of a cause. Your love life is amazing, so you have sex whenever you want to have sex, or at least, you know, you're me. I could have less, I should say. I could have less. You have enough sex, you're happy, you know, even if you're in your 70s. Haven't I told you that story? Okay, it's unscripted, right? We're talking. My great-grandfather, I'm gonna come back there afterwards. I was a young preteen, I think. My great-grandfather holds a family meeting. So in my family, we're matriarchy, so the head of the family was my great-grandmother. In my home, my mom is the head of the family. It doesn't mean that my father doesn't hold power, but we say that the father is the head and the mother is the neck. Okay? Catch what I'm trying to say. So my great-grandfather apparently had never called upon a meeting for the entire family. So we're talking great-grandfather. We meet at their place. So I remember we're all kids. They're like, go to your rooms. And then my mom and my aunt had like brought food. We had maybe catering or something was done, but there was a lot of food on the table at my great-grandparents' place, the place where I grew up. Because my mom, maybe you know the story, my mom studied in Paris, and I was raised by my biological father, who was a diplomat, and because he was traveling as well, I spent most of the time raised by my great-grandmother. I would go to Paris probably every trimester or whatever to see my mom for the time she was studying. So my great-grandfather calls upon a meeting, everyone goes there, and of course us kids were very nosy, so we were kind of peeking, trying to listen to what was saying. And basically, I give it to you very short, my great-grandfather had called upon the meeting because my great-grandmother had told him that they could no longer have boom boom great-grandparents because my great-grandmother had been sick, and she said that her body, because she had surgery, her body was not inside, it was empty, and she couldn't receive the foreign thing inside of her anymore. So that's why they couldn't have boom boom. And he was like, I'm getting sick because we need to do it. So imagine my mom, my grandmother was there and all of that, and basically people were like, this is why you're calling us? And I remember not really understanding everything, because at that age I didn't know what sex was. But I just remember my aunt and my mom being like, okay, how do we tackle this? And all of that. So anyways, it was a funny situation. They found a solution at the end. Basically, they told my great-grandmother, you need to go back to bed, and, you know, like, your health is okay. If you want to do it, you should do it. I'm speaking about my great-grandparents. This is the reason why I'm saying, bringing back to the situation. So sexually fulfilled as well. As much as you want or need, you should have it. Being in a monogamous, sacred relationship honored by a man, you should have it as well. This is what success is, basically. The rest, the intricacies or the specificities, are based on your taste, your community, your preferences, the things you've come to like, you know, from your own experience, etc. But in a nutshell, this is what it is to have a harmonious life, right? And when I gave you the archetypes, because there are other types of archetypes, okay? There are goddess archetypes, things like that. These are for other things that, you know, when you're soul searching, this is how you're going to, why you're going to go to things like goddess archetypes, to understand who you are emotionally, or why you like the things that you like, or why certain things happen to you and things like that. But this is about building identity, and those are the success identity archetypes. So you have a major and a minor. So Jennifer Lopez, to give her as an example, is a proletarian archetype, and this is the reason why you saw at the beginning of her career things popped very, very fast. Of course, there was a machine, you know, I think it was the former producer of the singer Mariah Carey that took upon Jennifer Lopez as a project or something like that. This is what I remember from, you know, when I was young and I was living there, and I was like, Jenny from the block and all that. Things went very quick. The proletarian archetype displays a type of energy where people want to relate to them. When Jennifer Lopez started, it was always about that identity. Even though I've made it, I'm from the hood. She was casted, what you say, in movies where she played a maid that lived a fairy tale, but she was a maid with integrity, who made it in this fairy tale love situation with the guy who would not even look at her when she was dressed like an employee, like a house employee. When someone has the proletarian archetype, people like to relate to them. The people, the mass, when I say people, is normal people, average people, the people who are living regular life, 9-to-5 jobs, are not necessarily the most attractive. They don't have access to the most privileges. They're average people, low income to average income people. So the people that you see on the street every day, which is an amazing identity. If you have that identity, it's great because you have the capacity to attract masses. If you decide to do anything public, people are going to follow you massively because you have the proletarian identity. Someone like me, I don't have that identity at all. I'm not gonna give it away because maybe you are starting the course now and you haven't yet finished your assignment to determine and to understand what the archetypes are. But I'm not that. I'm very niche and I'm very, anyways. So you have Jennifer Lopez, right? Haven't you noticed, you know, there are a lot of people, maybe you watching me, I'm not really focused on the media so much, but I turn on my TV once in a while, right? She's not so much present, and when she has projects these days, a lot of people don't relate to her anymore. The success that she's had in her life has made her and her team, her image consulting, whatever, image building team or PR team, whatever, they don't understand that about her. She's making now projects where she is too grand, where she shows up as the boss. People don't, there's something that feels not honest when she does that. And because she's not embodying this identity, this major identity, which is her, she also has a minor. What's happening is that she's thirsty for this attention. People watching her feel like she's forcing it. Of course, she has the fans, the hardcore fans who are always going to follow her. I'm not saying that people are going to dislike her. If she has a strong foundation of fans, of course they're going to, be with her no matter what she does. But I'm speaking about proletarian, meaning that everyone, you would go to any country where they watched the Made in Manhattan movie, I think that was the name of the movie, or maybe I'm just translating it from the French. Anyone, you would go to the Philippines. I had Filipino friends, they love that movie. In Africa, they love that movie. I knew people from my childhood who had never been to the United States, and they related to Jenny from the block as though Jennifer grew up in their neighborhood. I remember one of my nannies, she was from São Tomé in Príncipe. I don't know how you pronounce it in English. It's a Portuguese name. Anyway, a country next to my country. So my personal nanny, because we had governess, and she felt like Jennifer Lopez was born in her island. The Jenny from the block effect. Like, I'm part of the people. She doesn't have that anymore. She lost that. And when you take someone else, maybe, who could I take? Gwyneth Paltrow. So you have Gwyneth Paltrow, right? Same. She was a prolific actress. She came from parents that were, I believe, in the entertainment industry, but they're not what Westerners call old money. Old money is lineage. Like I can trace my lineage, my nobility to 12th generation, right? And you can be noble without having money, because some noble people are not really business savvy. In the case of my people, we're lucky. We're also wise. We're also heavily into magic and all of that. And women remain powerful despite slavery, colonization, and all of the stuff. They were able to make themselves indispensable at any system. Westerner, African, religious, whatever. They just had that double life that I teach you, you know, lying to their face, telling them, yes, I believe in whatever God you're giving me. So if you take Gwyneth Paltrow, she does not have a noble lineage. However, her identity, you would think that she is what you guys call, because you watch Pinterest, you call it old money. She has that demeanor. The roles that she was given, it was always about this girl who is from an Ivy League school or who went to study in a Swiss boarding school. She has that demeanor. So this is her identity. That is why the moment she decided, I'm done making movies, I have enough money now, I'm gonna create a business for rich women who like holistic, who like the holistic sciences, but in a very niche way. Some things are weird, some things are okay, some things are whatever, but it brings a crowd that is very niche. A crowd that doesn't want you to relate to the fact that she's selling a sex toy, can you say that on YouTube, for $20,000, and you're like, yeah, I own it. Because you relate to the fact that she has the aristocrat identity, the aristocrat archetype. That is why she doesn't feel the need to act anymore. Acting was just a way for her to have a credibility. And now she is doing a business for people who aspire to be the niche, to not want to be relatable, to not be like the mass, like a proletarian. If I want to compare these two celebrities, you're going to see sometimes people saying things like, oh, J-Lo, in reality, she's not so nice. She doesn't treat people nicely. Because they expect her to be nice. They expect a person who comes from humble beginnings to be and remain humble or modest in the way they approach things. They want the person to be polite because what? Poor people are programmed to be obedient. Poor people are programmed to never go against the system. Poor people are going to hold on to morality and value, false morality and value, because they don't have anything else. They don't have power, they don't have influence, they don't have money. So at least they have what? Morality, the fear of God, the fear of being judged. So they become the judge of everyone that misbehaves. Jennifer Lopez, because she has the proletarian archetype, she is going to have a backlash because she's a diva. At this point, she's a gazillionaire. So, you know, she has so much that she doesn't need to be nice. But then people would like her. People don't like the fact that they would hear that Jennifer Lopez is not nice. If I take the counter example of Gwyneth Paltrow, you expect her to be a mean girl. You expect a girl who looks like she went to boarding school to be a mean girl, to be cold, to treat you bad. And I think my daughters were telling me that there were stories about her daughter, who was the name of a fruit, I don't know, apricot or something, who basically, maybe it's not apricot, I'm sorry. And basically the daughter is supposed to be, because they came to, I believe they came to Paris to the Bal des Débutants, which is the ball of the new girls being presented to society. It happens every year at a certain age, I think when they turn 19 or 18, something like that. And apparently she's a bitch. But people are not going to hold that against her anymore. You know, they're like, yeah, of course, she's old money, she is rich, she is stuck up. You expect that of her. You don't hold these two women to the same level when you are yourself a proletarian or a normal person, because you want maybe not you, but people would, you know, anyone that says, well, she's not nice, this celebrity is not nice, want that celebrity to stay relatable regardless of the amount of success that they've had. I want to finish with the example of my mother and the archetypes. My mom grew up privileged, highly educated, light complexion in a country that was my mom was literally born 2 years after the independence of my country. So the system was still the system of a colonial system. So people who have my complexion were considered colored, a little bit like in South Africa, they call people who are mixed colored. So they don't consider themselves black, even though they're melanated, but in terms of their identity. And this is something some countries like America maybe, or Canada, would not grasp. The fact that someone would say, like me, I come to you, I'm a black woman, right? I'm undeniably a black woman. My melanin is what connects me. My melanin is my power, even though I have other ethnicity. I mean, I shouldn't say that because, you know, one of my initiations, boom, the first two people that I saw early on were Welsh, my Welsh ancestor. So, you know, I can't say that, you know, my other ancestry is not actively helping me. But back then, my mom, privileged, light skinned, because the system put the colorism in place in order to keep black people separated, divided. So my mom was lucky in many aspects. Education, she was from a family of nobility, traceable nobility. She had immense beauty, which made her immediately get a pick at the men. She picked my father, who was a diplomat, who was also of nobility, whose grandfather himself was a diplomat, very handsome by their standards, by any standards. So you had this power couple, beautiful couple, with, you know, driving amazing, beautiful, most beautiful cars. My mom traveled. I think my mom, the most smallest type of traveling style she's done is first class. Otherwise is, you know, JT, first class. Maybe sometimes she's taken business. Major archetype, proletarian. Minor archetype, hero. My mom has a savior complex. Her emotional state, natural state, is hero, which is the reason why. Because she didn't own her dark femininity, she was taken advantage of. People, the way I was programmed in my childhood, was to despise poor people because of my mother. Because the only interactions I saw in a country, mind you, that is poor by all criteria, I saw my mom being a nice person, people queuing every week to ask her for money, but what I saw is a woman who was taken advantage of. People would invent the biggest lies so my mom would give them money. And I thought, because of my own experience of going to school, having that guilt that was passed down to me in my early years, going and literally getting my jewelry out and giving it to children who said, I like this necklace, and I would give the necklace, everything. I mean, I'm African, we love gold. Gold is the real thing, you know. In the Congo region, Congo with a K, you know, we grow diamonds, we grow whatever. We grow emeralds, rubies, and all of that. I mean, that's why my great-grandmother would drink a diamond elixir, you know, as part of her spiritual way to renew her cells. That is also the reason why, for most developed countries, it is not in their interest to have, you know, people from my region to be emancipated. That's why there are so many wars and things like that are cultivated there, because there's too much resources, like every person's garden. I mean, in my country, we have everything from oil to gold to diamond to all of that. It grows there. It's in our gardens. And my mom felt guilty for having so much. She passed it down on me, and it was not my archetype. My archetype, major or minor, is neither proletarian nor hero. I come to you as a teacher. I've told you so many times, I'm not your savior. If you pay me my worth, buy my courses, you buy my products, you book a session, you will get your money worth times whatever you want. However, the savior complex is not me. I've given away too much information for free that most people couldn't even use because they didn't pay for it. They didn't know what to do with it, because when you're receiving, just like today, probably, maybe I'm speaking too much with the unscripted stuff, you know, because when you get so much, you don't pay, right? You're like, oh, she's there, she's working for free. She's a volunteer, she's a YouTube volunteer. I'm just watching her videos. Oh, MP, I'm learning so much from you. You've never paid me. I mean, no, so many of you are paying me. I love you, my customers, I love you, my clients. I know, I could say all of your names. I know all of your names. To wrap it up, you have to know the blueprint of who you are when you start building your identity. After you kill the ego, you have to have, okay, this is me. This is the way people give me my value, my worth. And I will end by the last element. In the villain course, please take the assignment of creating your birth chart, your astrology chart report very seriously, because this is how you're going to tie it to your archetype. Let me explain. When you're doing the birth chart report, I've already told you, astrology is not for you to watch predictions like the weather forecast. Today, I'm not going out because Saturn is, putting a wall on my head. No, you're not watching predictions to say, oh, is my twin flame finally gonna call me? No, that's not why astrology is there. Astrology is an ID. It's an identity blueprint that tells you when you were born, this is what the sky looks like. This is how the constellations and the stars were aligned, which means that based on that, we know that you're this, and this. So when you're doing your birth chart report, keep that in mind. It's going to basically tell you what is your manifestation style. It's important because so many of you are wasting time listening to subliminals when it's not even your manifestation style. Many of you are doing affirmations. You're doing them wrong because maybe for person A, their affirmations have to be said affirmatively. I am rich. For someone like me, my style of affirmations are expansionists. When I'm doing my affirmations, it has to be expansionist. Every month I'm consistently growing. This is my type. I will never, for my style of affirmations, I would never put a dollar amount. I would never say every month I'm consistently paid $500,000 because that is not my style of affirmation. It may be somebody else's style of affirmation. Maybe somebody else's, someone's style is you have to say it in numbers and to be very concise. This is what astrology is going to help you with. Astrology is going to help you also with food. Maybe you have a project of transforming your body. For transforming your body, you need a few things. You need my potion, self-love, my perfume, self-love, that you're going to activate. I can make a video on that. Maybe the witchy video, I can do that. You're using the potion. When you're doing the activation of the potion and the perfume, you are basically explaining, you're telling the potion this, and this. Because self-love is about the body, it's about self-confidence, about imposter syndrome. It's about a whole bunch of things. But when you're doing your activation, you're picking one thing. Don't bring your confusion to my magic. Every time you're using or you're doing a spell, it has to be one thing done consistently to grow the energy. And then you stay trusting that you have changed your identity. So you do the work during the day to change your mindset so that you're not blocking what magic is bringing you. You need to know when to eat and what type of food to eat. For me personally, I know that root vegetables work well for me. Having a structure in the way I eat also is good for me. And I'm gonna bring it back to the notion of violence. You know how much I love pastries, for example. I love sweets. And I love laziness. And I love leisure. But because of my knowledge of my archetype and of my birth chart, I put in place a structure that has made now for over 10 years my life to be breezy. Things come into place because I've let go of the need, I never really had that Western woman type of thing where Western women need to control. They need the how-to, but then it's like, it's not happening fast. How do I know it's happening? The need to like overthink things. You're blocking yourself, and when you overthink things, it means that you don't know who you are. Go back, determine, this is my archetype, this is my style of manifesting, this is my style of eating, this is my style of working out, this is my style of receiving praise, my style of receiving love, my style of receiving money. Money and love, when it comes to astrology, are kind of similar. The way to receive abundance is the same. It's through Venus anyways. You bring the two together and you focus on me. Everything is about me. It's not about what am I getting. Yeah, but I'm taking the course. What am I getting? You're getting you. Strong foundations. I know who I am. It's going to help you not overthink, because the voices of the ego are not going to come back to your ears because you know who you are. You're not going to entertain a statement that doesn't reflect you. It's like me. Someone tells me, MP, you're extremely dark skinned. I would say, really? Okay. In my mind, I would say maybe the person telling me this is East Asian. Maybe it's a Chinese or a Korean person, because even for a Caucasian person, anyone who has eyes knows that I'm not extremely dark skinned. It's my identity. It's what I mean, isn't that meme from the rap artist Cardi B? Like, my daughters have shown me. Like, right? You can't question something that is not you. My daughters, the moment they got their first period, which was 1 year and 2 years ago for the two of them, because they're 10 months apart, they did their first initiation to find their life purpose, because we're not messing around. Like, they know already. You know, they're not gonna go to engineer school if they're not meant for that, or vice versa, or whatever. So they already know. They already have their first contact with their goddess, their money lover. They know what they're here to do and what possible careers, if even, because some women are just born to be housewives, stay-at-home moms, or whatever, which is their life, part of their life path. So we're include that in career, because you can have a great living being a wife. So we did that for them. And we also they already did their birth chart report. So they know what color suits them. Haven't you noticed I never wear black, for example? Black is just my anti-color. And my birth chart confirmed it. That's it. I can't wear black. If I wear black and I come and I speak to you, you're going to listen to me and you're going to find me phony. You're going to be like, I don't really want to watch. Even if I have the best hair, the best makeup, the best whatever, that color does not suit me. My energy, my everything, my identity. So my daughters know that. They have all their report is done, and they're fully dark feminine energy. Fully. So my youngest one, Elisha, she just got signed to a modeling agency. She's on TikTok. She's just doing this with her phone, and she got maybe like 60,000 followers. Like, she's just doing this, lip singing, whatever. She has 4 fan accounts, you know, and I'm like, I'm trying to find a way to have time and to really focus on my strategy for TikTok, and like, she just shows up. And anyway, so my daughter, we went to take photos for her comp card, like the card where the models, you know, they have photos, you know, like a regular like tank top and jeans or whatever, something that shows their body and all. And they put their measurements on them, and she needed to have different haircuts. So she had braids in one shot, one photo shoot. She had her hair straightened in one photo shoot, and she had her hair natural, kinky, curly, you know, big hair, beautiful, like. So she just walked out of the photo shoot. I'm with her because she's 16, which is now becoming kind of a pain in the ass, because she's 16 and I have to basically take, whenever she's booked or whatever, I have to be there, because I will not leave my daughter, even though all of the magic and X hexes I can do, I still need to be there, and I wouldn't want to be anywhere else. Like, I'm with her, I'm her mom. So we walk out and we see some friends of hers from her high school. And anyways, we don't think anything of it. She talks to them a little bit, and then we met her assistant. A couple of days later, she comes back and she's like, you never believe what they told me in school. So a couple of kids had told her in school that, you know, I don't think it suits you to have your hair natural and all of that. My daughter has an intrinsic gut root hard knowledge that she is gorgeous, that she is super intelligent, that she's she's received praise all her life, and she look in the mirror. The person told her that, the kids, there was a couple of kids, they told her that. Mind you, these were boys who were like this tall compared to her, so she was looking down on them, like the way she described it to me. She was just like, I'm not attractive with my natural hair, the hair that grows out of my natural body, my natural scalp, meaning that it's the way it grows, so it suits me. It's natural for it to suit me, but okay. And she's like, but you still won't grow tall. Look at you. At least I can straighten my hair. Can you grow? Can you be a tall man? No. And she just continued with her life. She never questioned herself because she has an identity. She has a success identity. Am I saying that my daughters are not gonna have problems in life? Of course, because life is a school. It's a journey. So they have their own karma, their own things that they're going to overcome with life, but at least they have a foundation of abundance. They have a foundation of self-knowledge. There's not one boy with a narcissistic tendency that is going to tell my daughter, turn her upside down, because her self-love is so strong and so rooted. All that to say, everything is about success identity. If you don't have that, you're going to tiptoe trying things left and right. Whereas when you have the blueprint, you just apply it, and then life gets easier and easier. What is harder for you is going to be the part where you destroy your ego. Because the ego is an addiction. The default identity is an addiction. That's the part where you need to apply yourself. And you can't do that once. This is all of the shadow work that I teach you. This is all of that energy stuff that I teach you. This is all of the lectures that you're going to listen over and over and over again until it gets natural. The same way you watch movies that you know by heart, you know all of the lines, the same way you know some songs by heart. This is the same amount of effort you need to put into self-propagandize yourself, self-brainwash yourself into your success identity, so it becomes second skin to you. I love you, and I hope this video was interesting to you. Manifest lavish imperial opulence. I love you, and I see you in my next one. Let me know below if you like the unscripted videos. Maybe you don't like the long formats. Today I had fun, so if you finished the video, if you watched until here, mwah, I love you. I love you. You're my daikini. Can't wait to hear what you have to say below the video, and please continue to engage with my videos. Let's get the numbers up, so that the algorithm doesn't work against your anti-guru. Yours truly, MP Miss Pravala Akirogale. I love you. Ciao.